All right, what's going on? Welcome back to yet another recording video of TryHackMe. It's your boy Hank Hackerson with Hank Hacks Hackers. We are going to be doing the Snort challenge, or I guess it's like a basic Snort challenge exercise today. This is a part of the SOC Level 1 pathway with TryHackMe under network security and traffic analysis. This room is a subscriber only room. The other room that we did previously was a free room, and then the one that we're going to do after this is a free room. But this one is a subscriber only room, which means that you need a subscription, and you can get it through the link in the description below. You'll get a discount on your subscription, or you can always just download Snort on your own machine and kind of use it in the way that we're going to be using it today. The only thing that you would need to do is just make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. Turn on the notification bell so that you get notified the next time a video comes out in this pathway, and then you'll get more and more education under these topics and everything else that basically falls under Security Operations Center and the Security Analyst. So without further ado, let's go into the introduction of the room. Okay, so basically we need to start our machine. I believe it is we don't need an attack box for this. It's just it's going to start the last machine that we used in the last video, and we're going to kind of just run it the way that we were running in the last video with just a few updates on the challenges, I guess, and the task files and so on and so forth. So I'm going to minimize this real quick just to kind of read through the instructions of the room. So we are going to investigate a series of different traffic data and malicious activity under two different scenarios. So we're going to work with Snort, and we're going to analyze live and captured traffic. We recommend completing the previous room, and I'll probably just open it back up for reference materials just so I kind of understand. Oh, actually, you know what? No, they did provide a downloadable file for us that we can actually use, and I'm going to try to open that up. It is it's a PDF file, and so this was downloadable from the last room, which is a free room that you can always get access to, and it basically has kind of like shortcut, just a 2-page analysis type of a thing where you can this is how you design rules, this is how you run different actions and alerts, and so on and so forth. And do we have an example rule? We do have an example rule. I want to say we should in here. If we don't, I do have to open up the other room just to kind of remind myself. Or there's always the actual rule file, so we could just open the rule file and kind of take a look at the examples that are in there. So either way, we are going to be working with some good stuff here. So that is it for the basic introduction, and yeah, let's jump into the task for writing IDS rules using HTTP protocol. Okay, so IDS rules, intrusion detection system rules for HTTP traffic, and we need to navigate to the task folder. Which task are we using? It doesn't mention, so it's probably a task that's been mentioned here. Yeah, so task 2 has to do with HTTP. So we're gonna be using the task 2 folder for this, and these are basically the questions, right? So it says use the given PCAP file, write rules to detect all TCP port 80 traffic packets in the given PCAP file. What is the number of detected packets? And then you must answer this question correctly before answering the rest of the questions in this task. Fair enough, I guess. And then so investigate the log file. What's the destination address of packet 63? And investigate the log file. What's the acknowledgement packet of 64? Sequence number of packet 62, TTL, time to live packet, or time to live of packet 65, and source IP of packet 65, and source port of packet 65. So that's kind of it. I mean, we're just going to be running the exercises, it seems like. So let's see if the machine is up. Okay, cool. The machine is up. We're just going to open up the exercise file in the file manager just so we can see what's going on. But for the most part, we're going to be doing everything inside the command line here. And so command line, and if you haven't done this, or if you haven't done any Linux fundamentals, this might be a little bit challenging, so I recommend going through some Linux fundamentals. But I always start with printing the current directory, which is our Ubuntu, and then doing an ls command to see what we need to go to. And so as we knew that the exercise files is inside the desktop, we would go into the desktop, and there it is. So then we're going to go into the actual exercise files directory and list our various files or directories that are in there. And everything that we're going to be doing is with the task 2, which is the HTTP task. So I'm going to go to task 2, and in here we have the local rules and we have the pcap file. So the first thing that we want to do is open up the local rules file so that we can add and edit some rules in there. So one of the things that I really want to do, just for reference, I'm going to open up the last room that I did, which is the Snort room, and then I'm going to refer back and forth to this room because it has a lot of the basic instructions for editing and going into files and getting out of files, so on and so forth. So the command that we're looking for is this command. So this is the command that opens up a rules file for you, and it's sudo gedit. That's basically all you need to know. And then this specific pathway is to the actual main rule file. And so what we want to do is we want to create or edit our own rule file that comes within each one of these directories. So task 2 has its own rule file, and I'm sure all the other tasks are going to have its own rule file as well. So first thing that we want to do is we want to open the thing, and local.rules, there we go, and it should open it up for us, and there is no rules in here, and the first few lines are commented. That's what a hashtag does. It just comments the files for you. And then so now I'm going to just go in here and kind of look at the structure of some of these basic rules. So this is basically what it looks like, right? So it says this is for filtering for the IP ID. So it's an alert for TCP from any IP to any port, any IP to any port. And the message could be basically any message that you want to put in there, but it should be along the lines of what you're actually testing for or running filtering for. And then this is the specific option that we want to use when we're looking for ID, right? And then as you notice, the format is very similar with the rest of these things, and the only thing that you're changing is this option right here, the option that comes after flag, or after the, after the message. So for this one, we're filtering TCP flags, and so you would be filtering for flags for SYN flag. This one is for the data packet size, and you would be essentially exactly the same thing, and then all you're changing is the size option, and then same IP, and then all you're changing is the same IP option. So it's pretty, I would say, repetitive or consistent. We can call it consistent, that's probably better. So it's pretty consistent when you are creating these rules, and we're going to be working with alert rules, I think, for the most part. So what it's asking for is what is the number of detected packets, and you want to do all TCP port 80 traffic packets in the given file. And so it could be one of two things, right? So it could be alert, it would be alert TCP any 80, like that, and we would go back and forth to any. That would be one version of this, where it's from the source directory, or the source IP, the source IP could be any IP, but it's on port 80. Or I could just do any source IP and any receiving IP on port 80, which probably is the same thing. And then from that, we're going to go into the rest of it, which is just putting it inside a parentheses, writing your message, and the specific option that you want to choose, right? So that's kind of the only thing that it's asking us to do, and it's asking for all TCP port 80 traffic given in the PCAP file. That's basically it. So I am going to modify this in the way that I think would be the best way to do it. And then we're going to run it and see what it does, see how it works. Okay, so this is what our rules are going to look like. I did 2 rules. The first one is going to be coming from any source IP on port 80 going to any IP and any port as the destination. And then the message is source port 80 found. And then we have the SID of 100001 revision 1. And then the next one is going to essentially be the opposite. So it's any IP, any port on the source, and then any IP and port 80 on the destination. And we just changed it to destination port 80 found. And then it's going to have the SID ending with 2. And that's it. That's basically our rule. And we're going to save this. And if we exit it out, we should end up back in the terminal, which we did. And so now we just need to run the snort command. So sudo snort with the C for config, and we're just going to end up using local rules as our configuration file. We're going to do an alert. A is going to be full, and then it's going to log it into the current directory, and then we're going to read the current pcap file, which is mx3.pcap, and that should work. Let me spell that right. And that should work, right? So this is what the command looks like. So we have sudo snort -c local rules is going to be our configuration. -a is for alert, and we just want a full alert. And we're going to log that into the current directory. That's what this dot represents. So -l into the current directory that we're in. And then -r is to read. And then we're going to read that pcap file. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so it read our file, and so now we actually have our new alert file right here, and then we have a local rules, obviously the original pcap, and now we have a log. So if we use snort to read the log, which would be snort r and then snort.log, it should open this up for us, and it gives us a number at the bottom right here for our total, which is 328. And so that's basically what we were filtering for, right? We were filtering only for TCP traffic on port 80. And then if we go up here, you'll see that it basically only shows things that are for port 80, right? So that's basically the rule that we ran for. And so it should be the correct answer, which is 328. Okay, very good. That is the correct answer. So what is the destination address of packet 63? Now this is where it gets kind of tricky because there is a lot of packets. There's 328 packets. So let me see what the hint is. The n parameter helps analyze the n number of packets. So maybe if we just go back to the same command that we just ran and then do n and then stop at 63, it'll only read 63 packets. And then the very last packet that we'll have will be the actual packet that we're trying to analyze here, which is this thing. So it says, what is the destination address for packet 63? And so if we just zoom in right here, the first one is going to be the source IP on port 80. And then this is going to be our destination IP. So that should be the response and the answer. So let's go back out and let's paste this. Let's see if that's correct. That is indeed correct. Cool. What's the ACK number of packet 64? So we're just going to run the same exact command, except we're going to change it to 64 as the last packet. And so there's the 64th. And so we'll just go back up again, and we're going to find the very last packet, which is right here, and the ACK number is right there. And so we're going to copy that, come back and paste this thing. Good stuff. And sequence number for packet 62. So 64, 63, and let me see. Yeah, right, 64, 63, 62 right here. And so this is going to be our sequence number right there. And this was 64, so that's 63, and that's 62. And we're going to paste that here, and that should be all good. And so TTL of packet 65. So that means we're going to run the command one more time, and it's going to be 65. And just to give you a up close of this, this is what it is. So sudo snort -r for read, and then you put the name of the log file, which is right there, and then n65 just takes it to number 65. And so enter, and then we're going to find the last packet again, and we're going to find, what does it want? They want the TTL, so time to live, of packet 65, and that is right here. That's the TTL, which is 128. So I could just type that in real quick, and there you go. So, and the source IP of packet 65 is going to be this IP right here, the first IP basically, and we're going to copy and paste that here. And the source port of packet 65, which is 3372. And just like that, we finished our first task, our first exercise, which was writing the IDS rules for for HTTP traffic, excuse me. So writing IDS rules for HTTP traffic. And so if you know anything about ports and traffic and stuff like that, you kind of understand that HTTP applies to port 80, and there are no rules specific to HTTP, but there is a rule specific to TCP, and TCP on port 80 applies to HTTP. So that's basically how you kind of apply that, how you set that rule up. And so that was it. That was the first one. Simple enough, easy enough, and we are good with this one. So we are now going to move to writing IDS rules for FTP, which is port 21. All right, let's get into it. Let's see how it works. It basically kind of wants the same thing for us right here. And so we have the task file right here, which is task 3, and it's going to have the FTP traffic in there, or the local rules file that we're going to modify for FTP traffic. And it's similar. So it says write rules to detect all TCP port 21 traffic in the given PCAP. What's the number of detected packets? What's the FTP service name? And then clear the previous log. And alarm files, deactivate, comment on the old rules, or deactivate or comment the old rules basically. Now write a rule to detect failed FTP login attempts in the given PCAP. Okay, interesting. And what is the number of detected packets? Clear the previous log, deactivate the old rule, write a rule to detect successful FTP logins in the given PCAP. And then what is the number of detected packets? Clear the log again, and write a rule to detect FTP login attempts with a valid username but a bad password or no password. Okay. Number of packets, clear it out, and failed login attempts with administrator username but a bad password or no password. So we are creating a couple of different types of rules with this one. So let's see how that's going to look. So the first thing that we need to do is go back to our previous directory, and then now we're going to go into the task 3. Task 3, there you go, FTP, and we're inside this right now. And so, whoops, it can't be a capital LS, it needs to be lowercase ls. And so there we go. So that's what we got. We got the PCAP file, we have the local rules file, and so now we need to first just write the rule for finding any and all TCP port 21 traffic in this file. So first and foremost, we're going to go sudo gedit local rules. That's the first thing we got to do. And so here's our rules file, and we're just going to write the commands real quick. Oop, I'm getting a phone call, excuse me. And so first we're going to do the alert for those things, and then we'll see how many packets we find. All right, so here's what the rules are going to look like for this one, which is alert TCP any source IP port 21, and the next one is any, and then any destination IP port 21. And then we adjust the messages accordingly and adjust the SIDs accordingly. And that's pretty much it. That's basically our rule sets just to find these things. So we're going to save it and exit out this thing. And now we're going to run the command to read the file. So sudo snort, the config file is going to be our local rules file. And we want an alert that is full. We want to log it in the current directory, and we want to read the, what is it called? It is called FTP PNG GIF, whatever, PCAP. So there's that. That's basically what that command is going to look like, and hopefully that runs and it should be good. Okay, it definitely ran, and so the number is 421 it seems. So let's see if that's good. It is not. Wait, so let me see. So I should probably just get better at kind of getting into the habit of reading the actual log file, because that was a guess really. And it's not 421, I don't think. So we're going to do sudo snort read and then the log file, which should be snort something. There you go. And 614. There you go. That's the total number. So that's the actual answer. Okay, very good. And so now we're going to investigate the log file, and it says, what is the FTP service name? So let's see if we can find that. Okay, so the command that we ran used the X option, and the X option basically shows you everything including hexadecimal. And in here we should be able to see the details that we need to see specific to the FTP service. There you go. And it shows up in the kind of, I guess I don't know if this is called the comments or exactly what that's called, but, and just to show you what the command itself is so sudo snort read the log file, and then that's it. You just put a capital X as one of the things, and I just did N10 just because I didn't want to have 600 results. So the name of the service, one more time, was Microsoft FTP. That's basically right, Microsoft FTP service. Yeah. So Microsoft FTP service is the name of the service. And so now it says clear the previous log and alarm files and deactivate the old rules. Write a rule to detect failed FTP login attempts in the given PCAP. So what we're going to go back and do is we're going to reopen our rule file, sudo gedit rules. There it is. And so basically the way that you comment it out, as we kind of established, is you just put a little hashtag sign in the beginning, and that's it. That's how you comment out and deactivate an old rule. And based on the previous room that we did, they recommended not to delete any of these, just to comment them out, to deactivate them. So you kind of have an idea what you've done as far as all the rules that you've created and what you have access to, so on and so forth, unless it becomes gigantic and you have like thousands of lines of rules and it becomes a little bit tough to find rules or activate and deactivate them, so on and so forth. So for now, since we only have 2 rules, we're just going to comment out these rules. And now we're going to write a rule to detect failed FTP login attempts in our PCAP file. Okay, so the rule is actually going to look pretty similar to the other one, which is, it's going to be an alert TCP from any IP on port 21 trying to get to any IP that we got. The message is going to be failed FTP login. And then what we're filtering for here, so we actually had to add a little piece before the SID, which is we're filtering for the content. And so 530 specifically, applies to a failed login attempt. And this actually was inside the hint for the room that says each failed FTP login attempt prompts a default message with the pattern 530 user. So that's what it means when somebody tries to log in and they failed. It's not going to say failed login, right? So usually it's like that. There's some kind of a code that correlates to, what the activity was and what the result was, so on and so forth. So for example, when you get a successful HTTP attempt, it would be a code of 200, and 530 in this particular case applies to the FTP failed, and then user, I'm guessing, so 530 user is that the user failed to log in, essentially. I'm not for sure that's actually what it means. I just know that in this particular case, that's how we're going to filter. And so the content filter applies to the contents of the packet, right? So you're just searching through the contents of the packet to see if that string of text is going to be in there. And this is going to be our rule. So we're going to save it. We're going to exit here. And then what we need to do, they said, is clear the previous login alarm files and deactivate. So what we need to do is just remove. I'm just going to remove it easily enough, and then I'm gonna also remove the snort.log file easy enough. And so if I do ls, those things are no longer there, right? So there is a way that you can open up the alert file and delete what's inside it and save it that way. It's just faster, in my opinion, to just remove both of the files, because it's going to create a new alert file after we're done anyway. So that's it. So you just remove those 2 files, and we've edited our rule. So we should be good now, and we should now be able to run the command. And I just want to practice the command. So sudo snort, and it's going to be the configuration file local rules, and we're going to have an alert that is full, and we want to log it in the current directory, and we're reading the FTP pcap file. And that should be it. So let's press enter. Okay, very good. And we got that. So now we're going to do sudo snort read the snort.log file. And there's that. And so we got 41 results. So there's that answer. So 41 results is the number of detected packets. And so create the previous log and alarm files, write a rule to detect successful FTP login. So what's going to be that? It's 230. So you see 530, I think it was the previous one that it was failed. So 230 is going to be successful login. So that's what we're filtering for, and it should be fairly simple to do that, right? Because we already have the rule. All we need to do is just change that little code file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now remove my alert and sudo remove snort log, and there should be that. Okay, very good. And so sudo gedit local rules, and it's going to open this back up for me. So I'm just going to highlight this whole thing and copy that. I'm going to go at the beginning of this. I'm going to comment out that rule, and I'm just going to create a new line, copy the rule entirely, and all we're doing is we're doing success right here, and then we're changing this to 230, and the SID is going to be changed to 4. And that's it. That's our rule. So we're going to save this thing, go right here, and I'm just going to click up 1 and then up 2 or 3, excuse me. Well, maybe 5. So 6, there you go. Fine, found it. So sudo snort configuration, the local rules. I'm going to do an alert of full. I'm going to create the log in my current directory just to kind of show you again. And so, yeah, that's basically it. And then we're running the pcap file. So we're going to run it. We're going to read it. Very good. And so now I want to sudo snort read my snort log file. And what is it going to be? There's a total of one successful packet that's logged in. And so are we going to, can we see it? I want to see what the packet looks like that they got a successful login here. That's basically it. That's it. That's the packet. Look at that. That's a successful FTP login into our file. So what I want to do, just for shits and giggles, we're going to do the read, and we're just going to do it in full hexadecimal format so I can see what all the contents actually looks like as well. And so there you go. This is what it actually shows in the contents of it. It says 230 user administrator logged in. So somebody with an administrator password logged in here, or the administrator username logged in here. Okay, all right. We are doing some good research right now. And so, okay, so what's the rule here? Now we're gonna clear the log, deactivate the old rule, write a new rule that does failed FTP login attempts with a valid username but a bad password. So what's that gonna look like? So it says each login attempt with a valid username and bad password prompts a default message with the pattern 331 password, okay? And try to filter the given pattern in the FTP traffic. Try to filter the given username. So 331 password is what it's gonna look like, and see. So let's create that rule. So we're gonna do sudo remove alert, sudo remove snort log, and then sudo gedit local.rules. And so we're just going to comment out this one. And I wonder if I still have it saved to my... Oh, I don't. I didn't even try to save that. I don't understand why it would do something like that. It's kind of weird, but whatever. Okay, so now we got the new alert, TCP, all that stuff. And so what are we doing? It's a failed bad user. So we'll just do failed FTP, and then it is valid user, sorry, bad password. So bad pass, that's going to be the thing. So failed FTP bad password is going to be our message. And the content is, what's the code? 331 password. So 331 password, let's see what that gives us. And SID of 5, because this is going to be our 5th rule. And I think that's it. That's a good one. So we're going to save this out, and we're going to close this out. And we are now going to run the command one more time. So if I do a couple of these, where we just go up, and there's the command. So sudo snort config is the local rules, yada, yada, yada. And we're reading the pcap file. So we ran it, and we got that. So now we're going to do sudo snort read the snort.log file. And there's 42. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do that one more time with the hex option to see what we got here. So password required for administrator, password required for administrator, password required for administrator, password required for administrator. So there was 31 failed login attempts for administrator. Oh, no, wait. For Napier. So we got administrator. So there's Napier in here. That's another username. Napier, and Fred, Napier, administrator. What else we got? Fred, test one, test admin. So it looks like they're trying, a bunch of different things, clearly, and until they finally got their escalated privileges to their stuff. So what is the number of detected packets? We got 42 detected packets here. And so we're going to clear it, and then it says write a rule detected for the FTP login attempts with administrator of the username, but a bad password or no password. And you can use the content filter more than one time. Okay. So we're going to do content for, what is it, bad password, I think, or no password. So we're going to do content administrator, and then content bad password, right? Yeah, so content administrator, content bad password. So it's going to be 331 password, and then also content administrator. So we're going to create basically just an extra line of a rule, and that should give me just the stuff for the user administrator. So sudo remove alert and sudo remove snort log, and do RLS. There it goes. So sudo gedit local rules, and so I'm just gonna copy this, and it's gonna be the bad pass, and then we're gonna paste it. Bad pass administrator is gonna be this rule. And so this one is just going to, in the content, is going to say administrator. Like that. That should be it. I wonder if I could put both of them on the same rule, but I'm just going to create two rules. One of them is going to be filtering the content 331 password, and the other one is going to filter the content administrator. So let's see if this works. Hopefully it will. If not, we'll just do a little bit of troubleshooting. Who cares? So sudo snort config file is local rules, and we're going to do an alert of full. We're going to log it in the current directory, and we're going to read the, what is the name of the file? FTP yada yada yada. Oops, I forgot to put R. So I gotta make sure I read the file. And there it goes. And it ran. And so now sudo snort R the snort log file and give it to me in hexadecimal format. 63 packets, huh? That can't be right. Oh, because it showed, I see. So it needs to be, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do, yeah. I think I'm gonna do, first and foremost, what I did was for the bad password, it's 331, and administrator, it shows up everything for administrator and for bad password. So we're gonna do 331, what is it? It's 530, administrator cannot log in. 530 user administrator cannot log in. Okay, I gotta do a little bit of troubleshooting real quick. Okay, so we had to modify our rule to include both of the different pieces of content that we're searching for in the same rule. And then there's one specific option that you also have to note here. When you're using multiple content filters, you have to put in the fast pattern filter. That's kind of a requirement. And I think that's it. That's all I gotta do. Failed FTP, bad password, whatever. I'm just gonna leave the message because that doesn't matter, or not. It doesn't matter much. So now it should be fine. So now I'm gonna run Snort again with the config file local.rules, and it's gonna be a full alert, and we're gonna log it in the current directory. And now we're going to read the FTP file. Okay, so there we go. And so Snort, sudo Snort read the Snort log file x7. Is that right? That is right. Okay, cool. That did work. Okay, so let's see what they look like. So 331 password required for administrator. Password required for administrator. So these are all the failed login attempts for the username administrator. And that's basically it. I mean, that was, again, kind of simple. I'm not going to say it was easy. I had to do some research between the attempts. But for the most part, I'm satisfied with how we did in this particular task. So we're going to now move on to the next one, which is writing IDS rules for a PNG, which I think is an image. So yeah, we're going to move on to task 4, writing IDS rules for a PNG. All right, so let's create an IDS rule for PNG files in the traffic. So go to the task folder, use the file, write a rule to detect PNG files in the PCAP, investigate the file, investigate the logs, and identify the software name embedded in the packet. And then clear it and look for a GIF file and investigate the logs and identify the image format embedded in the packet. So let us do that. We can just get out of this particular folder now and go to CD task 4, right? That's where we're on, task 4. That is the PNG, yeah. So CD task 4, PNG, get in there. And let's do that. So we have same thing, right? FTP PNG GIF. I think it might be the same PCAP file, honestly, because it was named the same. So first thing we got to do is we got to edit the local rules. So there we go. And we are now here. And so it says ICMP packet found. There was already a rule in here. So ICMP any, and this is a ping. So I don't think this really is necessary. I wonder if it is. I don't think it is. But I'm just going to disable it for now. And we're going to come back and create a new rule that will detect PNG files in the PCAP. Okay, so in order to actually be able to pull this off, in the search of file types, typically, more often than not, 99.9999% of the time, you're not going to see something that says PNG, and you're not going to say something that says GIF or whatever. What you need to do is you got to find the file signature. There's something called the magic number, and so we just Googled it basically. So magic number file signatures, and there's a Wikipedia list, and then you go here and you have all of these things, okay? And so in my case, I'm running on Mac, so I'm just going to do Command F. But if you're on a computer, it would be on a Windows computer, it would be Control F. And then I'm going to look for, what is it, PNG, right? That's the first one. So the first thing that we want to find is PNG. And so this is PCAP PNG and I want the actual file. Oh, there we go. So for PNG itself. So for a PNG file, this is the magic number, okay? So this magic number in hexadecimal means there's a PNG file right here. So image encoded in the portable graphics format. And if we go up here, it says the PCAP next generation dub format. So that's definitely not it. And so PNG, and then what is the other one? So yeah, that's it. So this is the only thing that actually applies to the image inside the file that is encoded in portable network graphics, so PNG format. So we're going to copy this. I just want to make sure I copied it one more time. So I'm going to go here. I'm just going to create an alert, TCP any, and any, and the message is PNG file detected, and the content is going to be, I think I have to separate it by a pipe, that like vertical, this thing right here. And so we're going to paste the content in here and then add another one at the very end of it. Whoops. Let's go back and make sure that this is all good. And there you go. And then close the quote. And then there you go. And SID is going to be 100002. And the rev is going to be 1. So let's zoom out and make sure that all of that is all good. SID is all good. That's all good. And I think that's it. I think we should be fine with this. So we're going to save it. I'm going to close this out. And we are going to run the command. And let's see if it actually works. Local rules, and the alert is going to be a full alert, and you're going to log it in my current directory, and you're going to read the FTP PNG file. Okay, so it did work, or at least it read it. That all I can say that. And then sudo snort read the snort.log file. Oh, whoops! I need to do that same thing in hex format. And so there it is. So we only have one. Okay. And in here, there should be something. Is there something in here for me that will be useful? Is there anything here that will be useful? Ooh, look at that. Software is Adobe Image Ready. Okay. Hey, look at that. I like it when things work. Yeah, buddy. That's awesome. So now we're going to be detecting a GIF file in the given PCAP. So same thing, right? So we're just going to go and search for that. So first I'm going to remove the alert file, and then I'm going to remove the log file just to make things easier to detect. And there we go. And so now we are going to go through the list of the wiki stuff for a GIF format image. And so where is it? We got image encoded with the graphics interchange format. And are they both the same? There's two different codes in here. So I guess I'm gonna create two rules. So yeah, so this is the only thing that applies here. So I'm gonna create, I'll create one rule that will have both of these pieces of content. How about that? So we'll do this. We will go back to sudo gedit and local rules, and we're just going to comment out this rule right here. And I'm going to go here. I forgot to first copy paste that, so I'm going to first paste the actual magic number. Then I'm going to copy the rule itself. Then I'm going to paste the rule. And then I'm going to replace that magic number with this magic number, which is going to be this thing right here. I'm going to replace that with this. And so it's going to say GIF file detected. And so since we are going to have multiple content filters in here, we need to do I think, what was it called? A full, what is it called? A fast pattern, my bad. So fast pattern. So we're going to do fast underscore pattern, and then separate that with another content filter, and that's going to include this, and then within that I'm going to get the second set of numbers here. I'm going to copy that, go here, go inside this thing, and paste it in here. Okay, and there's that. We're just going to change the SID to 3, and that should be good. So alert, any, and then GIF detected, content. We're going to have 2 different filters in there, and that should be good. So I'm excited to run this and see if this actually works. So let's do it. Sudo snort config file local rules. Alert is going to be full, and the log in the current directory, and then read the FTP PNG GIF pcap. Okay, after running this multiple times and not getting a log file, I think there's an issue with my actual rules. So I might need to remove one of those values and see if it will work. Whoops. Okay, so that is the issue, I think. So I am using the wrong potential magic number. So I'm gonna do a search in Google for the GIF MIME type magic number, and the magic number for GIF is this. A file that starts with is always a GIF. Okay, so this is giving us a different type of content to search for. So it's GIF87A. So I'm gonna try to see if that's gonna give me anything in my rules. Okay, I think we found something. So let's see, sudo snort read the snort.log file and give it to me in hexadecimal format. There's 4 packets here. Let's see, is there anything in here that may actually be worthy? So what is investigate log? Identify the image format embedded in the packet. I want to say it's this thing. So GIF89A. So there was either 87A or 89A, and it seems that the only thing that showed up is actually GIF89A. So that might be the answer. That is the answer. Okay, great. So, all right, that worked. So the thing that we had to search for in this particular case was the MIME type magic number. So there's always the, I guess, the magic number, which is those like hexadecimal type numbers. And then there's the MIME type number, which is what we found this particular answer from. So that works as well. And then from here now, we can move on to the next task. So in this task, we're going to be searching for torrent, or searching through a torrent meta file. So we're going to go to the torrent folder, which is this particular folder, which is on task 5. And so the requirements are to use the given pcap, write a rule to detect torrent meta file in the given pcap, the number of packets that have torrent, investigate the log and alarm files. What's the name of the torrent application, and then what is the MIME multipurpose type of the torrent file, and what is the host name of the torrent meta file. So there's things right here. So what's the hint give us? Torrent meta files have a common name extension .torrents. Try to filter the given pattern in the TCP traffic. So we're going to be searching for content that has .torrent in it. So what we're going to do, as you should already know by now, is we're going to go back, and then we're going to go cd task 5, which is torrent. We're going to come in here, and we have our local rules. So we're going to edit the local rules file, and in this one we're going to create a basic rule that gives us an alert of TCP any, and it's going to be any, and the message is going to be torrent file found, and we're going to do a content filter, which is going to be .torrent, and from there we're going to have a SID of 100001, and from there we're going to have a revision of 1. and that should be good. So TCP any torrent file found, content is going to be .torrent, and we're going to, that's it, we're just going to run it. So that should be good. And let's see if we find anything inside this thing. So what's the name of the file? It's torrent.pcap. So sudo snort, and it's going to be config local rules. Then we're going to run the alert for full. Then we're going to log it in our current directory, and we're going to read the torrent.pcap file. Okay, so we got something. So let's see if we got a log. We got a log. Very good. Sudo snort, read the snort.log file, and do it in hexadecimal format. Got 2 total responses, so the number of detected packets should be 2. Very good. And so let's go through it and see what we can find about the information. Wow, look at all that. There's a lot of stuff in here. Okay, so there's 2 files, and it seems like they have pretty much the same information in here. And so what am I answering here? It says, what is the name of the torrent application? So let's see what we can find here. BitTorrent. It might be x-BitTorrent, or it could just be BitTorrent. I've actually used BitTorrent. Torrentbox.com could be the website that we're looking for, tracker2.torrentbox.com. So that's some good information. And yeah, the application itself, so they're asking for the application. So the application name is x-BitTorrent. So x-BitTorrent, is that it? No, it's not. So it's BitTorrent. There you go. And so what is the MIME extension type of the torrent meta file? So the extension of the torrent meta file is what? I believe from here to here. So application / x-BitTorrent might be the MIME type. So application / x-BitTorrent. Cool, that is it. And what is the host name of the torrent meta file? The host name. Host is tracker2.torrentbox.com, and then port 2710. Although I don't think we need the port, so tracker2.torrentbox.com. Cool, okay, very good. And that was one of the quicker ones so far. And we have accomplished searching through a PCAP file for a torrent file, torrent meta file. Okay, very good, moving on. Okay, so task 6 is about troubleshooting. And so it says, you need to fix syntax errors in the given rule files. So we can test each rule set with the following command structure, which is sudo snort. This is the rules. Read that a console, and so it'll just print everything on the console. And fix the syntax error in this file and make it work smoothly. What is the number of detected packets? Then fix in this file, make it work smoothly. Fix it in this file, that file, that file, that file. And so basically we're just fixing the error. So these are logical errors though. So okay, there's logical error there, and then there's a syntax error. So I think logical error applies to the type of stuff that you're searching for. And then syntax error is like if you put a comma in the wrong place or something like that. So let's see what the hint for this one is. Space matters, okay. Don't forget the ports, okay. SIDs should be unique. I mean, they're kind of giving it away. Semicolons matter. And what else we got? Semicolons we already talked about. So what is this? Direction and colons, okay, that matters. And case sensitivity matters. Okay, so let's go into the task 6, right? Task 6, yeah. So we're going to go into the task 6 file. So cd and there it is. So the first one is local rules 1. So sudo gedit local 1 rules. Here we go. Alert TCP any 3372 any, and there's a space that needs to actually run properly over there. So I actually made this mistake on one of my own rules earlier in this task. So for sure, space definitely does matter. Troubleshooting 1, SID is fine, rev is fine, everything else is fine. So we're going to save it. And we're going to go and we're now going to run it. Snort config local 1, right? Local 1.rules. And we are going to do an alert console. And we're going to, I don't think we need to log it. It's not telling us to log it, so that should be fine. And you're going to read the mx whatever file. Okay, so there you go. So what is the number of detected packets? 16. What's going on, buddy? 16. There you go. Cool. Moving on. So sudo gedit local 2 rules. So here's this one. And alert ICMP any. There's no port, so that's probably what's missing. Any. And message troubleshooting 2. Everything else is fine, so it's missing a port. It was missing the command for the port. Simple enough. Sudo snort config file is the local 2 rules, and you're going to read the mx cap, and then you're going to do it onto the console. And so now we have 68 packets. Very good. So I'm kind of breezing through this, but this is basically the command that I'm running to actually run the file after we've done the editing of the rule itself. And then yeah, that's it. You basically create fix the rule. So gedit one more time, and then local 3.rules. And so here it is. So I'll kind of zoom in this time so you can kind of see what's going on. So ICMP any all is good. This is all good. Any 8443 okay. The message seems to be fine. The SIDs are not unique, so you need to have a unique SID, and that should be fine. So we're going to save that now, and we're going to go out, and we're going to run the command sudo snort config file is local 3 rules, and you're going to read the mx file, and you're going to print it onto the console for me. So it should be 87 packets. Very good. And local rules 4. So let's see. Sudo, gedit local 4 rules. And so what's going on here? Let's see if we can figure it out. ICMP, any, all that good. That's good. And this is all good. And this is still not a unique SID. And that's it. Was I supposed to do, because I feel like I did this one already. No, this is 4. Okay. So, okay. So that seems to be fine. So let's save it. Let me just, what does this say? Semicolons matter. Oh, so it's not missing. I see. See, I missed that. So the SID was the thing that was like an immediate fix, but look at this. Right here, they have a colon where there should be a semicolon. So that is what was missing in this situation. And are we missing any other semicolons? No, that was the only one that was missing. Okay, so now we're going to save it, and we're going to run that. And let's figure this one out. So it's going to be sudo snort config local 4, correct? Yeah, local 4 rules. And we're going to read the mx file, and we're going to put the alert onto the console. And let's see what we got here. How many packets we got? We got 90 packets in this one. And local rules 5. So now we're going to go into sudo gedit local 5 rules. And we are now here. Okay, so here's one thing that I remember from the first room. There is no such thing as a backwards thing. So it's either this or moving forward, but there is no backward thing. So this just needs to be done according to this parameter. So that's pretty much it. It's either this or moving forward, which let's see, it says to move it forward. So I'm kind of cheating here by looking at the thing, but I didn't want to run it and then find another one again. So I'm just going to adjust it to the format that they wanted it to be formatted. And so let's see if there's anything else that's missing. So all that stuff is good. These are good. The SID numbers are good. Everything else is good. So we're going to save it and we're going to go like that. And now we're going to run the command. Easy enough. And this is on the local 5.rules, and we're going to read the MX file and we're going to alert it onto the console. Oh, see, look at that. There's no argument passed on to the SID. What are you talking about? Really? Make sure you didn't forget a semicolon or a colon. So maybe I got ahead of myself. Local 5.rules. Is there no? Aha. See? Look at that right there. That's what's messed up. So whatever is inside the semicolon needs to have a colon to separate, and then semicolons separate the rules individually. Okay, good stuff. They throw multiples at us, you know what I mean? They're doing it just to see if we're on our toes over here. And there's a quotation for the message. Come on, bro. I can't believe I'm missing these. I need to just be paying attention, buddy. There it is. That's the other one that was missing a semicolon. Okay, let me just read one more time through these rules to make sure that it's all good. Because I don't want to keep coming back and forth and doing this little troubleshooting here. Okay, alright, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. So, I don't know, third, fourth time, however many times I've been trying to run this, but it should be good now. There we go, we got it. And there is that. Okay, moving on to local rules number 6. Let's see what is wrong with this file. Local 6 rules. Okay, there is just one rule here, but we got to make sure that there's nothing wrong with it. So it's TCP any port 80 get request found. Content is going to be that, the SID is that, and the revision is that. So for a get request, I think this might be the thing that might be messed up. So let's see what else we can find that could potentially cause us harm. I'm also going to look at the hint. Case sensitivity matters. Use the capitals or no case. Okay, so in the first Snort room, one of the options that we have is no case. That basically says it disables case sensitivity used for enhancing the content search. And so the content right here, number 1, says get. So it doesn't actually use a specific code for it or a magic number. And then there's the option that they added, which is no case. So I'm going to go here and I'm just going to change this to, well, I'm going to run it with that, and then we'll see if it still comes back with an issue. So no case was added, SID is fine, and the revision is fine. The message is fine as long as it has the semicolon at the end. This has a semicolon, that has a semicolon. Everything should be fine. So we'll first run it with the magic number, and if it doesn't work with the magic number, I'm just going to change it to the original, which is just get. So sudo snort, config file is local 6 rules, and we are going to read the MX file, and we're going to put the alert onto the console. Is this going to work? It did work, and we got 2 alerts. Let's see if that works. Oh, it did work. Okay, great. Good stuff. Moving on. Finally, which is local 7. And what is the hint on this one? Rules without messages don't make sense. So it seems like we just need to make a message for this rule, which sounds simple enough. Local 7.rules. And so it has the content and TCP port 80, content something something on port 80. I don't know what it is, but I'm just going to do a message of payload found on DSD port 80. That's going to be our message. We're going to separate it with a semicolon. This is all good, separated with a semicolon. The SID is all good, separated with a semicolon. And that's it. So that should be our rule for this one. And we're going to close that. And we're going to go up here and we're going to run it one final time with the local 7 rules file. And you're going to read the MX file and you're going to give me an alert onto the console. Let's go. We got that. And how many? Oh, look at this. Look at this. Oh, what is the name of the required option? I didn't even need to run the freaking thing. I could just type it here. MSG. MSG. Isn't that an ingredient for something that like makes food addictive or some shit like that? Okay, nice. Troubleshooting syntax errors is done. And got that in the bag. And we're going to move on to the next task now. Using external rules. So MS17010. This is external rules to fight against the latest threats. We're going to go to task folder, use the PCAP, use the given rule file to investigate MS1710 exploitation, the number of detected packets, clear the log, and then use the second rule file, empty file, to write a new rule to detect payloads containing that as the keyword, and then the number of detected packets, and then investigate the alarm files. What is the requested path of that? And then the CVSS-v2 score of MS vulnerability. Okay, so we're going to first look at this hint. The content option is going to help us filter that. We got that so far. Ends with IPC, so the requested path, I see. So we're going to search for the path that ends with that. And then the external search will help you find the score. So we got to go into the actual CVSS database to find the score of that vulnerability. So that being said, we are going to go back one file and we're going to go into the task 7, right? That's what we're on? Task 7, yeah. I was trying to be smart with it, and I was trying to do 2 commands at once, but I don't think I could. Task 7. There we go, ls. And we have local rules and we have local 1. So we're going to first mess with local rules. So sudo gedit local.rules. Whoa, type that at the top. Look at these rules, man. Holy moly. Okay, so use that to investigate the MX17 exploitation. Is there anything on here that actually finds that for us? So MS1710. 1710. There you go. So we have these 2 rules. And I mean, I don't know if I want to have all of these things searched for, but whatever. So we have at least the thing. So I don't need to modify it or anything, I don't think. So I'm just going to run it as is and see if from the log file that's generated we're going to be able to find anything. So sudo snort, and the config file is going to be local.rules, and we're going to read the name of the file is ms07pcap. And the alert is going to be a full alert, and I'm going to log it inside a log in the current directory. And I think that's it. Read ms7. Yes, I believe that's it. So let's run it. Okay, that was the longest log file that we have so far. And so inside of this, it's going to ask us what is the number of detected packets. So sudo snort r. And we want to read the snort.log file that we just generated. And we got 25,154 packets. Holy shit. Okay, there you go. Clear the previous log and use the second rule file. So let's see what we got. So sudo remove alert and sudo remove the snort log file. Okay, so we got that. and do a new rule. So we're gonna actually modify this one, gedit local one dot rules. There we go. And so we're gonna create a new rule here that is going to give us a TCP any, and the message is what found? To new rule to detect payloads containing IPC keyword. So we're going to say IPC found. That's basically going to be our message. And within that, we're going to have a content filter, and it's going to search for \IPC $. That's it, I think. And then separate that by a semicolon. SID is going to be 100,001. And the rev, whoops, see, I made a mistake. So rev is going to be 1 and semicolon separated. So that is our rule. I'm going to try to see if this actually works and if it gives me anything good. So any IP on any port, IPC found, the content is going to be this thing that they told us to search for. And the SID is all good, and that's all good, and everything's been separated by a semicolon. We're going to save this rule, exit out of this mofo, sudo snort config local one dot rules, and you're going to read the ms file, and you're going to give me an alert into a log, alert full log on the current thing, and give me that. So bad escape sequence starting with IPC. So there's something wrong with that. Okay, so based on a little conversation that I just had with Bard, which is the Google AI, so I told it basically this, that was my rule, and I pasted my rule. This is the edited version of the rule that it gave me. But I gave it my rule, and I said, this is, it's giving me a bad escape, bad escape sequence error. There you go. And it's because I was using the actual backslash that was provided in the this thing right here, in this piece right here. And instead of using just the IPC keyword, I actually use the backslash as well. So I'm going to remove this backslash, and I'm going to save my rule and come back, and we're going to run it one more time just to see if it'll actually work, and it hopefully will. Okay, there you go, it did work. And the number of detected packets are 12, just like that. So, okay, easy does it. Sometimes you do need help from an AI to make things work. So, all right, so now we're going to investigate the log alarm files, and we're going to try to find the path that we want. So, what is the name of the, it doesn't matter really, but sudo snort read the file. So snort.log, and read it in hex format for me, and it's going to read it. And I'm going to kind of maximize this a little bit just so it's a little bit easier to go through these things and what I'm looking for. And there is an alarm file that we could also search for that might make it easier to search, but there's also this version of the thing right here where I can actually go into it, and look, it says it already right here. So that is the full thing. And so what am I looking for? It's saying, what is the requested path, which is I believe it's the 192.168, so on and so forth. So I'm actually gonna just type that in manually, because I don't think I can do it without, like, if I copy it, it's gonna copy all the hex data as well. 168.116.138, and then backslash IPC $. That should be it. There you go. Cool. And now, what is the CVSS v2 score of the MS017 vulnerability? And so since we are going to use external search to help us do this, I'm just going to copy this whole thing and search Google for it, and it should give me something right away, and it's 9.7. Look at that. That is pretty high up there, you guys. Oops, not 937, 0.7. No way. It's not 9.7? External search. Okay. I thought it was 9.7 because it said 9.7. With that it is 9.7 with a high risk factor and a base score of 9.3. Okay, so maybe it's 9.3 if it's not 9.7. Okay, I see. See, it didn't say that though. It didn't say that you want the base score. Whatever. Okay, whatever. Anyways, we got the answer. That's what's important. And we are moving on to our very last task before we conclude this room. So it's for the most part, it's been kind of a smooth experience running through this whole thing. So just wrap task 7 using external rules for the MS17010 vulnerability. And yeah, let's move on. Okay, task 8, the final task, I believe. So use external rules. Do it again. So navigate the task folder, pcap, yawn, and so forth. We're going to use this thing to investigate that one. What's the number of packets? Then investigate the alarm files. How many rules were triggered? Okay. Investigate the alarm files. What are the first 6 digits of the triggered rule SID? Then use the previous login alarm file, or excuse me, clear those, and then use the local 1 rules to write a new packet to find payloads between 770 and 800 bytes, and that is the data size. Where was it? D size. D size is the name of the option that we're going to be using. And let's go back here. And where are we moving? So we're moving to investigate log alarm files. And what is the name of the used encoding algorithm? And used encoding algorithm for this crap. And invested what's the IP ID of the packet. And decode the encoded command. What is the attacker's command? And then find the vulnerability. Okay. This is a pretty good one. This seems like a pretty gnarly one. So first thing that we got to do is actually go into the task file for that, which is the very last one, task 8. So let's go back one directory, and we're going to go into task 8. I have to use capital letters. There you go, ls. And so we got the local 1 and local rules. And so what we're going to do first is we're just going to run Snort against the pcap file by using the local rules, and that should be it. I believe that is it. So I'm going to read it. Oh no, I forgot to create a log file. Darn. So I'm going to do it again and create a log file. Excuse me, alert is going to be full, and I'm going to create a log file in my current directory. That's what I missed. Now it's going to give me the log file. There we go. And so we got da-da-da-da-da. So, okay, so what are we going to do here? It says, what is the number of detected packets? So snort.log. What is the number of my packets? What am I missing? Oh, I didn't use read. So here we go, sudo snort read the snort.log file. Thank you. And we got 26 packets in total. So investigate the alarm file and the log file and see how many rules were triggered. So let's see, will it show that to us here? Okay, for this one, I actually just went through the alerts because it's a little bit easier to read. And there were only 4 unique SIDs that actually came through. So I think the answer is 4. And that is indeed the case. And so it says, what are the first 6 digits of the triggered rules SIDs? And they do all actually have the same exact first 6 digits. And the only thing that changes are the last 2 digits right here. So, you know, there's 26, 30, 26, and then 31. And then there was one that was 28. So what we got is the first 6 digits, which is important. And so we're going to copy that, and that should be our answer. Very good. And so now clear and then run with local rules to create a new one. So I'm going to now close this thing out. I'm going to remove the alert and the log file. And then from there, we're going to create a new one. So remove alert and sudo remove snort log. And so we should be good with here. And so gedit the local one.rules. And so here we are going to create a new alert on TCP any and any, and it's going to be message packet size found, whatever. And I think it's called D size, right? That was the name of the thing. Yeah, so D size, minimum and maximum. And so if you want to put it between certain types of sizes, so it would be the first size and then the thing and then the second size. So we want between 700 to 770 to 855. So we're going to go here and we're going to do D size, and it's going to be 770, and it's going to be 855 for the second number. So we got that. The SID is going to be 100001, and the rev is going to be 1. And that should be our rule, and it should be fine. And is there any formatting or any kind of issue? No, I think so. I think it's good. So we're going to save it. We're going to go back and we're going to run it, and let's see what we got. So ls, that's what it's going to look like in there. So sudo snort config file is going to be the local one.rules, and the read is going to be applying to the log pcap, and we do want an alert of a full alert, and we want to log it in our current directory. So let's run that. And oh, of course, I put dies instead of dsize. Goodness gracious. gedit local one.rules. Let's go back here and just change this to dsize instead of dies. And there you go. And we got that. And so now I can probably run the command and it should be fine. There we go. Okay, so what does it say? So first question is number of detected packets is 41. And what is the name of the used encoding algorithm? Okay, let's try to investigate our file here. So sudo snort read snort.log, and I need to actually do that again, but I need to do it with hexadecimal so I can get the full contents. Okay, so we got that. And so the name of the encoding algorithm. So the name of the encoding algorithm. Okay, so I recognize this portion right here where it says base 64. I know that that's an encoding algorithm, and I have seen it multiple times inside these results. Let's see if we get any more that kind of gives us something similar to that. But I think that's it. I think the answer is base 64. So let's try it. Let's just see if that actually works. So we're going to go here, base 64, and that is indeed the answer. Very good. What is the IP ID of the corresponding packet? So the one that actually gave me a base 64 was, which one? It was, right, okay, so this is the one that had the base 64. So now I need to find the IP ID, which is in the upper section right here somewhere. And there it is, 62808. Paste that there. Very good. And so now investigate it again and decode the encoded command. What is the attacker's command? What's the hint here? It says you can use the base 64 tool, read the log alarm files, and extract the command and decode. Extract the command, read the log alarm, and extract the base 64 command. And then the command to decode it is that. Okay, I see. So we're going to go here. And I believe the command itself is this thing right here. So it goes, basic command base 64, and from here all the way down to what? Okay, so I think the easier version might be to actually review the alert file, and from here try to find the ID. So 62808, which is this thing right here. Unfortunately, it does not provide the hex data for me. So let's see what we can do in this particular situation to try to get that information out of there, that attacker command. So sudo snort read the snort.log file in hex format, and then I want you to find my specific packet that I'm looking for, which is this one. And so I'm gonna kind of open this up a little bit and bring this down a little bit just so we could see the command. And it's a, I mean, it's a pretty long command. And usually the issue is this: when I try to highlight this section, you see how it highlights all of that? So that's the kind of problem that I'm having right now, to try to figure out exactly how to take that entire section out without having to delete each one of these things. So time to do a little bit of Googling. Okay, so based on what I read, I literally have to do this manually. So I'm going to just take this. I'm going to copy this portion of the response. There we go. And we're going to go into some kind of a text editor. I think that's a text editor up there. There you go. So paste it in here. And now I got to remove all of these things manually. So we're going to go here first and remove that manually. Then we're going to remove that manually. Then we're going to remove that manually. And so on and so forth until we get the full code. Okay, once you remove everything, this is what it should look like. So we're going to close this out and we're going to save it on the desktop as base64.txt. Save that. And so now we have it. And so the command that is recommended for us to do it is the base64 decode filename.txt. So it's going to be very similar to, I'm just going to open up a new thing. Actually, it doesn't matter, so because we're already pretty much done. So we're going to go here, ls cd desktop, ls, and there it is. So base64 decode base64.txt. Actually, I don't think that's an invalid input. I think that's actually it. So it's probably from this portion to this portion might be the thing. So we're going to copy that and let's see if that works. Yep, that's indeed the message. So very good. So I mean, with the exception of just removing the thing manually, everything was pretty simple to do. So now what we need to do is go find the CVSS v2 score of the log4j vulnerability. And so it says the average is 6.5 with the base score of 7.4. And then there's more information where it says there's 7.5 here. So it's one of these three. It's either 6.5, 7.4, or 7.5. So let's try 6.5. Nope. 7.4. Nope. 7.5. That's not it either. Holy shit, really? Okay. Okay, so going to the actual NIST website, we're gonna click on V2. Oh, it's a completely different score. So it's 9.3 then. Yeah, so I don't know where this information came from. I don't know what, this is generative AI, so this is probably the response from Google's AI, which clearly is not right. So we needed to get it specifically from the NIST.gov website, and we did. And so that is it. That is the last task for using external rules on Snort. In conclusion, let's see what we got over here. Oh, that's basically it. So are you brave enough to stop a live attack in the second challenge room? So we have completed this one. This was actually pretty fun. I liked it. This was a subscriber only room that was available in TryHackMe. I know that the Snort 2 challenge room, this is actually also a free room that's available in TryHackMe right here. So this is going to be available to anybody who does not, even if you don't have a VIP membership or a paid membership essentially. But I do recommend getting the paid membership. I think honestly for the money, it's super affordable and very, very valuable. So definitely try it out. If you want even a discount, you can use the link in the description below and you will get a $5 credit towards it, and it'll make it even more affordable to do so. And yeah, you'll just get to hacking. You'll get to have some fun with this. So It's your boy Hank Hackerson at Hank Hacks Hackers, and I hope you learned from this room, and I hope you will follow along with us as we go through the rest of these challenges and the rest of these rooms. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, comment, turn on the notification bell so that you get notified the next time a video comes out, and of course the very next one that's going to come out, at least in this pathway, because I might end up doing something in the pen test pathway. But for this pathway, we're going to end up doing the live challenges for Snort, which is, it just seems to be 2 scenarios, but I'm pretty sure it's going to end up kicking our butt. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I'm very excited about it. Peace, love, and chicken grease. If no one else loves you, Hank loves you. And I will talk to you soon.